The International Court of Justice has ordered Israel to take all necessary measures to ensure humanitarian assistance gets into Gaza. The court says Palestinians there are already suffering famine and aid must be delivered without delay. Until that happens, German and French air crews are among those trying to relieve the food shortage with airdrops. But as DW's Tanya Kramer reports, their efforts are both difficult and disputed.
6 cargo planes wait on the tarmac at this airbase near Amman, Jordan. Inside this Hercules, the French-German crew runs through a final briefing before takeoff. They have recently joined an international mission, airdropping food and supplies into Gaza, where people are on the brink of starvation.
The key thing about the flight is that the first attempt at delivering the load must be successful. The scheduling is very tight between all the participating nations, so we only get one go at this.
Everything is double and triple checked. This flight is carrying 5 tons of aid.
What we have here is mainly food. Of course, everybody involved knows this is not enough, and it's certainly not the fastest and the most efficient way of getting aid into Gaza, where the delivery by land would be so much faster. But people here are saying it's better than nothing to deliver this aid to the people in Gaza.
Aid groups want Israel to open additional land routes. Until they do, these airdrops are providing a lifeline for a few.
It's knowing that we're doing something. It's the only thing we can do at the moment, that it's helping, even if only a bit. Of course, I hope that other political solutions can be found, that there is a ceasefire, that the borders are opened, that aid can come in, and that long-term solutions can be found.
Such airdrops have been criticized because they don't organize distribution of the aid on the ground. In the chaos, the strongest help themselves first, and many are left empty-handed. And there's a safety issue too.
We have here the pallets with the packages in bags. And on top, there are parachutes. Each of them has several parachutes, according to the weight of the package. They will open once they leave the airplane to slow down the impact.
But occasionally the parachutes fail to open or the aid lands in the sea. People have been killed, injured and some drowned, trying to get packets from the water. Recent drops were made along Gaza's coastline. It's time for takeoff. The flight time from Amman to northern Gaza is only about 30 minutes.
Seeing the destruction, it's the first time we can actually see with our eyes. We have been allowed as foreign journalists into Gaza since October 7th. Since the terror attacks by Hamas. So it's actually shocking to see the destruction.
Then it's time for the crew to drop their 5 pallets. In the absence of the opening of more land crossings and a ceasefire which could bring a respite for the people of Gaza, this drop should help at least some people.
And as we just saw there, dropping aid from the air has a variety of problems attached, not least that it simply doesn't provide anywhere near enough food to feed 2 million Gazans. It's one of a number of ways that international governments and aid agencies are trying to solve what's become a life-and-death problem of logistics.
In theory, food and medical aid can get into Gaza via land, air, and sea. For now, ships unload at Port Said in Egypt, and freight trucks take it to the Gazan border. Many countries are airdropping aid. This despite the deaths of people hit by packages or who drowned trying to retrieve aid that fell in the Mediterranean. In an effort to speed up deliveries, the U.S. plans to build a floating platform off the Gaza coast. It's unclear exactly where that will be. It's the same design as this one built in the United Arab Emirates. Experts say that will still not be enough. Overland routes are the most efficient way to bring food in, but inspections make it a lengthy process. Aid trucks are inspected by Egyptians in El Arish. They are then inspected by Israelis at the Kerem Shalom crossing or in Nitzana, and only then head to the Rafah crossing, where they are often delayed again. Earlier this month, a new road crossing, known as Gate 96, opened up, which is little more than a hole in the border fence. This route allows trucks directly into Gaza's desperate northern areas and avoids a long drive through the conflict zone.
Joining me now for more from Ramallah is Hiba Tibi, West Bank and Gaza Country Director for the humanitarian organization CARE. Thanks for joining us, Ms. Tibi. The UN's top court has ordered Israel to ensure more aid is allowed into Gaza, including opening up more land crossings. What do you expect will happen?
Good morning. We hope that this is going to allow us to facilitate aid entry in a more consistent and with good quantities to the south and to the north in the coming weeks. Unfortunately, although this call is not possible to be enforced on the ground, but we are so optimistic that this time it might be different, where we have seen from the Israeli government announcements that they will do their best to allow for that. It's 6 months already, and what we have seen as a bad situation became worse and worse, and now we don't even have words to describe what is happening in the north, as your correspondent explained when she has seen the images from the sky.
On the question of aid deliveries, Israel has always denied accusations from the UN and others that it's obstructing deliveries into Gaza and says that it's the aid agencies that need to do more to ensure food and supplies are distributed. Does Israel have a point?
So let me just give you two numbers that are going maybe to clarify the situation. The number of trucks that are entering to Gaza is at its best over the last 2 months was at 160. Mm-hmm. The need is before war, where everyone would have stored some food, have their supplies in the houses, would be 500. Now everyone don't have supplies. So 160 compared to 500 before war. The second thing is that unfortunately trucks are crowded on the Rafah side of the border, on the Egyptian side of Rafah border, and they are not allowed in. So the trucks are there, the assistance is bought, but it is not entering to Gaza. Now, more importantly, the very limited quantities that are entering to Gaza are focused in the south. And this is why we have seen these terrible images of people and kids specifically dying out of dehydration and starvation in the north of Gaza.
The ICJ has warned that Palestinians in Gaza are, quote, no longer facing only a risk of famine, but that famine is setting in after 6 months of war. Is that your assessment as well?
Yes, unfortunately, CARE was part of the organizations that called on what we call IPC report. And this is what we have seen. And even without having all these numbers, we are in constant contact with our partners and program participants in the north. And they would tell you, we are seeing our kids fading on daily basis without even tests. So they are fainting, they are not healthy with their own eyes. So imagine what would be uncovered when they have medical tests in the future, indicating what is happening because of malnutrition and dehydration.
We'll leave it there for the time being. Hiba Tibi in Ramallah, CARE, West Bank and Gaza Country Director. Thanks so much.
Thank you.